What's going on, everybody? Josh Engelman for Awesemo.com, and I am back with my NBA DFS contenders for FanDuel on Friday, March 12th. So be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you know when this and all of our other content goes live. Follow me on Twitter, at Josh Engelman, so I can get updates to you guys as fast as I possibly can. Like last night, for example, it was impossible. There was just too much news. I couldn't get an update done. It took me till 6:55 just to get my own lineups done. But normally, particularly on a 7-game slate, if you follow me on Twitter, I can get updates to my sim results to you somewhere around an hour outside of lock. And finally, let me know in the comment section who is your favorite and least favorite of my contenders for today's slate. We're rounding out the bottom of my top 10 with Russell Westbrook, Bradley Beal, Dwayne Bacon, Jimmy Butler, and Domantas Sabonis on the outside looking in. Who will be my favorites, my top 5 plays for today? Time to find out. First up at number 5, we're going to Kenyon Martin Jr., small forward eligible, 3,500, projected for 28. The goal's 34, optimal lineup 38% of the time. All bets are off for the Rockets today. We don't know if John Wall is playing. I think that he is. We don't know if Victor Oladipo is playing. I don't think that he is. A bunch of other guys are out. Eric Gordon's out. Daniel House is questionable. If he ends up out, which I assume that he is, this trickles down pretty far. So 30 minutes for Martin is where I have him right now. 0.95 fantasy points per minute. About a 21% usage rate, 12.7 boards, but he's the flat minimum against Utah. Now, I expect Utah to smack Houston, but they don't have the bodies to really run a ton of guys out there. Don't be nervous if they're getting smacked in the first half. They still have to play another 120 minutes total in the second half. I think Kenyon Martin sees blowout run if and when this game becomes a blowout. And at the flat minimum, at a small forward position, unfortunately, we're going to be getting to a lot of Houston today, and we are starting with Kenyon Martin. Next up at number 4, power forward eligible Jae'Sean Tate. So we're staying in Houston, 4,700, projected for 29. The goal's 38. Optimal lineup 38% of the time. One way or the other, no matter who's in or out, Jae'Sean Tate's probably playing 30 plus minutes. I've got him in for 34.85 fantasy points per minute. Below average usage, just 16%, but close to 14 real points, 6 boards, 2.5 assists, almost 2 stocks. It's a slight pace down spot against Utah. Clearly, Utah's defense is fantastic. This one's going to be ugly, but you still have no choice. 4,700 for a guy that can play north of 30 minutes on a 7-game slate. There's so much value to go around on Houston, and there could be even more depending on how news breaks. So for where I'm at right now, we've got Jae'Sean Tate and Kenyon Martin, both 38% likelihood of being in the optimal lineup. That's fun, I guess. Just to be clear, in the grand scheme of things, you would be more likely to see neither of them than one of them or two of them. That's just how this works out. But for right now, Jae'Sean Tate, number 4. If you're looking for fantasy points, go no further than Joel Embiid, number 3, center eligible, clearly, 10-7 on FanDuel, projected for 60.1. The GPP goal is 59.5. Yes, he hits his GPP goal 52% of the time. He's in the optimal lineup 38% of the time. I gave him 34 minutes. We've got no Ben Simmons. 1.77 fantasy points per minute is what I have him projected for here. He sees a big-time bump with Ben Simmons off the floor. They're facing a Washington team that's not all that great defensively. They gain 4.5 possessions over their average because this is the biggest pace-up spot you can find. Every single sign points to using Joel Embiid today. He is unquestionably one of the best pay-up options you can find. I have him projected for 33.5 points, 12.5 boards, 4 assists, and 3 stocks in a monster pace-up spot. Don't overthink it here. Joel Embiid at center, unquestionably amazing. Next up at number 2, we're going to the small forward position, and that would be Kevin Porter Jr., 4,900, projected for 33 fantasy points. Goal is 39, optimal lineup 39% of the time. He played a ton of minutes yesterday. Now without Eric Gordon, I don't think we see Victor Oladipo, so I think Kevin Porter is either the starting point guard if John Wall is out, or at least the backup and playing a ton at the 2. I think he plays 34 minutes, but 30 plus seems like a no-brainer. 0.98 fantasy points per minute for this game. 17, 5, and 4, 2 stocks. Same tough matchup against Utah, but again, minutes rule out. And at small forward, sub 5K, 30 plus minutes, and a guy that's certainly going to be looking for his own shot. It's Kevin Porter season. It's Houston season. They might lose by 40 and still have good options tonight. Now, before we get to that number one contender, one last reminder, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, follow me right here, this guy you're looking at right now. I hope you're looking. I hope you don't just listen. You should look. This face is fantastic. At Josh Engleman on Twitter. That is where you will get the updates to my sim results as we get closer to lock. And finally, do not forget, let me know in the comment section, favorite and least favorite contenders for tonight's slate. My clear-cut number one contender at power forward, it's Tobias Harris, who was a little bit of a letdown yesterday, but 7,800 on FanDuel. Still no Ben Simmons. 45 fantasy point projection. The goal is 49, but because of the position, he's in the optimal lineup 54% of the time. I've been playing 36 minutes, 1.25 fantasy points per minute with Ben Simmons off. Almost 25 points, 8 boards, 5 assists. That huge, great defensive pace-up matchup, all those good stuff that you get from playing Washington, he gets all of it at a $7,800 price tag. I'm not going to be surprised at all if Tobias Harris goes for 50 fantasy points. I actually think it helps him to have Joel Embiid back, to have another guy taking some of the shine off of him. So right now, unequivocally, 54% for Harris, Porter at 39%. Tobias Harris is my clear-cut, no-brainer number one option on FanDuel for today. Alrighty, folks, that will do it. Those are my NBA DFS contenders on FanDuel for I almost said Thursday, for Friday, March 12th. I can't remember the days since we started in the middle of the week. It's so weird. That's it, though. No more contenders for the rest of the week. We will be back again Monday morning for another edition of the Contenders. Good luck tonight, everybody. Have a good weekend.